Time to play a little stock up, stock down training camp edition here on Chicago Bears Now. My name is Harrison Graham. Let's go ahead and get into it as we are 8 practices in, assuming you're watching this either live on Thursday or on Friday. Let's start with the quarterback, Caleb Williams, stock up. Listen, wouldn't have said that a week ago. Wouldn't have necessarily said stock down, but it was a choppy first few days. First 2 days in particular were not good. Most of the third day wasn't great either, but really good finish to that practice. And since then, hasn't been dominant by any means day in and day out. But I would say there's been more good moments than bad. And more importantly, there's just been more growth, more comfort, more confidence growing as he continues to dive into this new system, into this new offense, gel with these new playmakers in Chicago that he has. So I think as we, enter the month of August here, you can feel good about where he's at, still more than a month away from the season opener. Obviously a long way to go still, but just from practice 1 to practice 8, we have seen significant growth and improvement, and that's what we want to see over the course of training camp. Okay, Jodah Jackson, stock down. I don't think this is something to necessarily panic about, but this has been a guy that's dealt with dings in the past. Last year had a fairly serious injury, missed about half the year, and then was benched because they tried to make him a center in LA. That didn't work out. I think if healthy, we all feel confident that he's at least going to be a solid guard. But he's day-to-day with a leg injury right now. His last 2 years in Detroit, I think he missed 3 and 4 games respectively. So he's missed time before. I don't think this is a freak-out thing, but, compared to the other locked-in starters on the offensive line, I think you'd have to point stock down at this point in time. Ryan Bates, the top fill-in guy right now, while Jackson has been out. Nahshon Wright, stock up. Listen, this guy was a third-round pick out of Dallas a few years ago. I might do a full video on this guy and just kind of talk about his journey. Was kind of a flop, bounced around. They traded him to Minnesota. He didn't do much there either. And it almost just kind of one of those right place, right time. He's 6'4". He's a press man corner. That fits what Dennis Allen wants to do. Nahshon Wright has coached him a lot in the past, going back to Dallas when he was the DB's coach there. So there's a comfort level between Wright and Al Harris. And he's practiced with the ones quite a bit with Jalen Johnson out, to the point that Dennis Allen is mentioning him specifically by name when talking about the CB2 competition, along with Tyreek Stevenson and Terrell Smith as well. So I think, if they had to cut down to 53 today, I think he'd be a lock to make the team. Now, does that change between now and cut down day? We'll see. But I think there's a better chance he's a starter right now than he's cut. That's how well he's performed going back to OTAs. So some joint practices around the corner, preseason games as well. We'll see if he can continue this level. But if he can, he's going to be on the 53, and he's going to have a chance to play as well. Subscribe to the channel. We got daily camp updates, injury news, watch parties, including the preseason games, and a whole lot more. We go live every game day, every Monday, every Thursday here on the channel. So turn on those notifications. That way you always know when we publish content and when we go live. Stock down, Cole Kmet. I'm not saying he's done anything wrong. We're just not hearing his name that often at camp. Like, when we hear about guys making plays, it's not necessarily a heavy dose of Cole Kmet. And in fact, we'll get to his counterpart in a second, but you're hearing his name a lot more. But last year, which I still think you would lay most of the blame on Shane Waldron, but there would be games where Caleb Williams didn't even target Kmet. Maybe there's not a strong rapport there. We know they're tight off the field, so I wouldn't think that's the case. But Ben Johnson likes using tight ends. He likes throwing to tight ends, so I think Kmet's going to be fine. But I think it's possible this guy's going to pass him sooner rather than later, which gets us to Colston Loveland. Colston Loveland, stock effing up. Since he's been back in camp, since he's been healthy after missing the offseason program with that shoulder surgery recovery, he's just gotten better and better each day, just making plays. Caleb talked about the trust already being there, his ability to go up and high point the football. He's a big, wide-ranging target. He's 6'6", and he runs like a gazelle. I mean, he's just fluid. He's smooth, good route runner, strong hands, very good in the scramble drill. You saw that on his tape playing with J.J. McCarthy at Michigan as well. He's just, every day there's a practice, you see reports, there's a nice play by Colston Loveland over the middle. So I think he's a dynamic receiving threat, and he's going to make plays in this offense this year. Who's going to be more productive in 2025? You think it's Colston Loveland or you think it's Cole Kmet? Type L for Colston Loveland, type K for Cole Kmet. I think Loveland's going to put up bigger numbers. That's my prediction on this one. Get yourself a Bears cutoff hoodie right now for 40% off. You kidding me? These things for $55. Now they're $33. Go to chatsports.com/Bears hoodie. That link is in the comments and description of this video. Click and shop today. 40% off, limited time only. I've got one. You should get one too. All right, we continue with stock up, stock down. Tyler Scott, stock down. Similar to Kmet in the sense of we're not hearing his name a lot. The difference is A, Kmet's a lock to make the team, and we know what he can do. He's done it for 5 years. Tyler Scott, we're not really sure what he can do. And last year, he virtually did nothing. And you're hearing other depth receivers way more often. J.P. Richardson, Miles Boykin, Devin Duvernay. I've even heard Maurice Alexander's name a couple of times. Obviously, Luther Birden is starting to emerge. We'll talk about him in a second. Olamide Zaccheaus makes plays every day. Like, Zaccheaus is on this football team. There's no doubt about that in my mind. So, Tyler Scott, a lot of it's a numbers game, but also the guys who he's competing with to get on the team, you're just not seeing him making as many plays as those other guys. Luther Burden III, stock up. Obviously a lock to make the team. Obviously a rookie. Obviously very talented. But how quickly things can change. We were pretty surprised when training camp started and he wasn't ready to go. Missed the first 4 practices. Ben Johnson even verbalized, listen, he's not out there. He's behind. And in his first practice, he had to throw him out of a team drill because he wasn't lined up properly. And look, he's still learning. The alignment things are going to take some time. This is a complex offense. But the last 2 practices, he has looked really good. And on Thursday, he looked dominant. He was the best player on the field at practice by pretty much everyone's account. So Ben Johnson praised his play speed. If he can continue to learn and get confident in what he's asked to do in this offense, and it just kind of the skill takes over. That's something Ben talked about with Caleb. It's like, right now we're throwing so much mental processing things at him. Once it gets to the point where he's just letting the physical ability take over, then he's really going to take off. Same thing with Luther Burden. Once he has these plays down, the alignments, the motions, all that stuff, the routes, then just the skill takes over. And you saw a glimpse of that on Thursday. Braxton Jones, stock down. It's a positive that he was ready to start camp. It's a positive that he's been out there for most of these practices. But I think if they played a game today, he would not start at left tackle. That is my guess. I don't know that for sure. I don't know that verbatim. No one's necessarily told me that. But I think he's behind Aussie Trapillo right now. I think part of that is his full play strength isn't back. He said he's around 300 right now. He likes to play closer to 305, 310. That makes a big difference. We already know his biggest weakness is anchoring. Ben Johnson talked about the most important thing in the spring and reemphasized it the other day is the ability to pass block one-on-one at times. That has not been Braxton's strength. That is something Ozzie's pretty good at because A, he's huge, and B, he's very technically sound. I think in terms of just Braxton Jones, he's in a contract year, coming off the injury. Yes, he's out there. Those are positives, but I think he's behind the rookie right now, which brings us to the rookie, Aussie Trapillo, stock up. On the flip side, if there was a game today, I think he would start. I think he would be the first left tackle out there. Why do I think that? Because for the majority of training camp practices, he's getting the initial crack with the first team offense, especially since the pads have come on. I think in the 3 padded practices, he has gotten the initial reps with the ones in all 3 of them. For sure 2, but I think all 3. Now, they're still rotating. Jones is getting in there with the ones. Kiran's getting in there with the ones. So this isn't a done deal, but you start to take these breadcrumbs with value. It's like, okay, if we're 8 practices in and Trapillo has gotten the initial crack with the ones in 5 or 6 of them, and in the pads for most of them, doesn't that kind of at least signal that he's the favorite to win the job? Don't think it's over, but I do think you're going to see some movement pretty soon in terms of who's in this competition still, who's likely to start. My guess is Trapillo wins this job, but I want to hear from you guys. Who will be the week 1 left tackle? If you think it's Braxton Jones, type BJ. If you think it's Ozzy Trapillo, type OT. Kiran Amegadjie, type KA. Lastly, we get to Shamar Turner. Stock down because, look, the injury's the injury. It's not his fault. It's whatever, ankle injury. But he's going to miss pretty much all of camp in the preseason. And for Trenches players, it's already a big jump from college to the NFL. You really need these reps right now. You really need to play in these preseason games, especially for a guy like him, kind of a twitchy defensive tackle athlete trying to grow as a player. They're just valuable reps missed. And the reason it's stocked down for me is I think his future is still bright and the potential is still there long term. I don't have huge expectations for a rookie this year. And that's a bummer to say about a second round pick as we enter the month of August, where it's like, yeah, I don't really expect much. I think anything he gives you this year is icing on the cake. The good news is you have a lot of depth there. It's not like the edge spot where you're pretty thin. Like if you lost one of your top 2 or 3 guys there, that would be concerning. But Turner was probably more like your DT 4 or 5 behind Andrew Billings, Javon Dexter, and obviously Grady Jarrett. So it's not the end of the world, but it's just a bummer for him personally. All right, there you go. Stock up, stock down, training camp edition. Maybe we'll play this again toward the end of camp as time goes on. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We will continue to pump out content here on Chicago Bears Now, including our first watch party just over 10 days away, or just under 10 days away. So bear down.